Osunlade,
Yes.
welcome.
Thank you, brother.
Welcome,
Thanks for having
welcome.
me.
Yeah, it's we've been chatting for a bit now, and I'm glad that it's actually worked out the way it is because we can do it in person.
Yeah, exactly. Always better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How's your touring been? You've been down under for a while now.
Yeah, it'll be 3.5 months by the time we leave in next week. It's been amazing.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. Kind of traveled almost the entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've done Perth, Adelaide, Byron. We have Cairns, we have Melbourne, Sydney. So yeah, we kind of moved around.
And now this is your Sydney weekend.
Yeah, the Sydney weekend.
Okay,
yeah,
great. Yeah. We're
Double
looking
header.
forward to having you tonight.
Yeah, should be fun.
So it's such an honor to have you. You've have countless releases over the last 20 years now plus. You are considered to be one of house music's greats.
I appreciate that. It's just hard work, man. You know, just keep working hard. That's
Absolutely,
all you do, you know?
You've influenced the culture. You've influenced a lot of artists today, and I want to rewind back to. And you've worked with a lot of amazing people as well. The late great Zeravora, and Salif Keita. It's incredible. I want to rewind back to when you moved from Missouri to LA.
Yeah.
And a young Osunlade. What was your vision then? And
Basically, just to get the fuck out of St. Louis. Just to get out of St. Louis. I mean, you know, small town, and I wanted to just check out LA and try my hand. I was 17, turning 18, and. Yeah, my dad was like, I know you want to do this music thing. I'll just send you out there and see what happens. And linked up with Tony Basil, Mickey. Oh, Mickey, yes.
Yeah,
so I stayed with her for like 3 months. And that's how the Sesame Street thing got around.
Right.
So, yeah, just, hustling and just trying to meet people and do what I could and just kind of worked out. Initially after that, started working on major labels with some artists and stuff. So,
what kind of work were you doing?
I was just producing.
Yeah.
At first, I was doing just musicianship on artists' albums. Okay. And then I started producing for Solar, for Jeffrey Daniels of Shalimar. It was the first album I produced, and it just kind of trickled down from there. Yeah.
And the whole. Yoruba project, the label, and the whole vision of you becoming the DJ producer that you are today. When did you think that was like?
That was 1999. I became a Yoruba priest 1997, and I basically left the majors because I didn't really like the music I was doing. I was following the suit of, trying to be this big producer and the whole competition thing. And after about 7 years of doing that, I just really realized it's not my music. I'm just kind of trying to fit into this major thing and chasing the money, chasing the acclaim of other things. So I stopped. And 1999, I met Tommy Musto. And I took him a tape of just some old house things I've had from like 94 and stuff. And he was like, you want to start a label? And so we started the label December 99. And within the first 3 releases, we were selling like 10,000 copies of each, vinyl back then. And so it really kicked off.
Numbers.
Back then it was really big numbers.
Yeah.
And so from there, I started getting all these remixes from all the New York guys like Torture Soul and all those guys. So the remixes is what really actually started it for me because I started getting international remixes from like the UK and stuff. So that's really what kicked it off and helped the label build.
And DJing, when did that
DJing,
start?
the first DJ gig was after my first album, Paradigm. I was in London promoting that with Soul Jazz, and I got a call from Harley and Muscle in Italy, and they're like, you want to come play some records for us? And I was like, you're going to pay me to play records? Because I'm used to, being in a band. I was like, you pay for fucking playing records? And it was, first gig was $250 on a boat party, and it was pretty amazing. I was like, oh yeah, I could do this. And so that's how that started.
Right.
And then it was just the hustle of just kind of honing in the craft of that, which took a few years. And 30 years later, still doing it, and trying to stay alive in this DJ world. It's crazy.
Well, it's definitely shifted a lot and changed in recent times. And I want to talk about that with you as well today. But I think in the beginning, like around that, especially around Yoruba, that transformation. You tell me a little bit about that, like, you know, and about the faith.
The faith is just basically a nature-based faith. It's basically we recognize all forms of nature as God because that's what sustains our life. So we pay reverence to everything of nature. You learn more about how to balance yourself with nature and mostly like learning about herbs to heal and to cleanse and that kind of thing, you know. Going to the ocean, making an offering to the ocean, going to the rivers, going to, you know, these things. Just kind of more of a balanced thing of nature. It's not really a religion of sorts. It's more of a
way of life.
Yeah. And so that was the thing. When I started the label, you know, after 2 years of priesthood and kind of being isolated for one of those years, you come back and you're like, you see the world a new way.
Yeah,
and so I wanted the blessings of the orishas of our deities to kind of bless all the music that I did. So I wanted to put a stronghold of my faith into that.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how that is.
And tell me, like now, especially in recent years as well, like to stay grounded and centered and to sort of look after your emotional state.
Yeah.
This you're still. This is part of your day-to-day
It's definitely
life.
it's more day-to-day life. Yeah, you know, I mean, especially now in this climate of the DJ spectrum, it's harder now because I'm older, and it's such a widespread thing. Like now, the DJs are the pop stars.
Yeah.
So you know, I think you work much harder now than you did before because back in our day, you know, you had like a set group of people that were kind of killing it and doing it. Now everybody's a DJ.
Right.
So you're kind of working against all the competition of all the new artists and stuff. You know, keeping your own ground, but there's definitely more work to do now. You know, I work harder now. I travel more, and it's just a little bit harder now. So you have to stay a little grounded and pick and choose your battles. You know, you do 2 gigs, you take 5 days off. You know, whereas before you did 23, 25, you're like, well, let's go.
Yeah.
Now it's like, okay, let's take some time out. We need to chill. So that's the thing. And but I think it's actually more fun now because I can appreciate it a little bit more because it's slower for me in the sense of the preparation of it, you know. And I don't really listen to much house music until I play. So it stays new to me, all the songs and that stuff. And I'm enjoying it a lot more now because there's so many new artists that are doing really good work, and you know, you're just being introduced to a lot of different things that, you know, back in the day it was just all of us. We are playing all of our own music, you know, Ron, Louis, Joe, and all, you know, we're playing each other's stuff. Well, now it's like you got all these, you know, you just get introduced to all this new stuff. Like, who the hell is that? And you know, who's this great thing? And so it's good because you get to introduce people to artists that they may not hear, whereas before, you know, it was kind of, I think, kind of just a circle of our peers.
Yeah.
You know? So
yeah,
it's still exciting.
And production now, what's happening in terms of the intensity of production as well? Like how are you maintaining that?
I'm still very, very busy with production. I do. I'm basically like I'll record and produce only when I feel it. I'm not one of those guys that I'm just constantly, And then because I'm on the road, I don't really work on the road that much. I like to get into my space at home and, you know, utilize. I'm kind of all hardware. So I like to get into my roads and, you know, actually play things.
Yeah.
So, I try to just kind of consume all the energy from all the travels and all the meetings and all the people and all the energy, and then go home and take that and create something. But yeah, I still do a lot. I release on the label nearly once every month. So, and then I have now probably 47 artists between the 2 labels. So I have Yoruba Records and Yoruba Soul, which is basically just all non-house stuff, more funk, jazz, whatever.
Okay. So
they push out a lot. They actually release more stuff than I do, so it's always kind of like balancing. You got so much music, so it's just kind of balancing the releases based upon the style and just to kind of, you know, make the variety not so one-sided. But yeah, it's great, just kind of having this family of people that are just pushing out great things and having the vehicle to put it out.
And is there a way to the method of recruiting or taking like the A&R process?
The A&R is the most important. I mean, most of my artists are basically family, people that I've met along my travels or friends that I've mentored. I have kind of a model. I usually mentor somebody for about 4 years, and that's like from music to taking them on the road, showing them the whole thing. Like, you really want this? You got to know you're not gonna sleep. You may not eat. You may miss that flight. You know. So it's something about that I think really kind of builds an artist's strength and just the knowledge of knowing, a lot of people, they want this and they don't realize the amount of work it takes to really do this successfully. Yeah. And so musically, it's mostly about just knowing that person personally, because, again, people want this. And so a lot of people just do music that they think other people want to hear, or they do something out of the ego. And I'm like, you wrote a song about something that you're not even living, so I kind of bring them back down and like, okay, let's reevaluate this. So that's really important, that people are being true to themselves, because I can't release something that I don't think is true within that artist's their life. Right. So that's kind of more about the A&R for me. I turned down a lot of stuff. I changed a lot of people's things, just because you have to be true. This is our diary, and you have to be able to look back at this and go, okay, that was actually something that happened in my life. So, yes. So I don't know why for some reason it's always 4 years. It's always 4 years. It takes a long time for people, and then also I think it matters in the sense of getting that eagerness out of the young artists. Like, no, you really have to learn this before you push yourself out there, because if you want to sustain yourself, you can either be, overnight success, one-hit wonder, and disappear. And there's artists that I've had that are just, they've gotten the thing and then they just don't do anything after. So, I think it's just that thing of the ones that really want this lifestyle and this, and do the music as a way of life. You have to give them that time to grow and build and kind of find themselves. So, yeah.
And is that a bit of a natural process? Like when people that come into your life?
Yeah, it's natural. They want to rush, and I'm like, no. I'm 30 years plus, and I'm working harder than I did when I was younger. So it just never stops. You have to live and breathe this, and you have to really know the reasons why you're doing it. It's not about fame or money or any of that stuff. And I think that's the most important thing that I try to, give value to the artist. Like, this is your life, you really have to, put the work in. And I don't rush anything. That's one thing that I've learned. I work a lot with Defected. They distribute us. So Simon and I are really good friends, and he taught me this thing, like, man, do not ever rush anything, because once it's done, you have to live with this for the rest of your life. You can't take it back. That song is done, and so I think it's important to just make sure that it's exact to what you want to convey.
There's a fine line with perfectionism, though, right?
Yeah, I think, we're perfectly imperfect, but you can get as close as you can to that moment in your life. Yes. We're always evolving, but you got to always have some kind of point to reference, and if that point is not actual, then the next thing is not going to be as well. So, yeah, I take my time with artists. It's really important for me to actually, and also to test them to see, like, this is really not a great job. People think you travel, you see the world. I'm like, no, I see airports, hotels, restaurants, clubs, and repeat.
Yeah, rinse and repeat.
Rinse and repeat. Yeah, it's not a glamorous thing. Not the way people think.
Yeah, it is, absolutely. What else do you do to look after your mental health aside from faith?
I do a lot of. I'm pretty much a herbalist, so I do a lot of cleansings and it's funny when you travel here. You can't bring anything here like woods. I come with all these teas, and they're like, "What the hell is this stuff?" And I'm like, "Okay, this is wormwood. This is this, and it's labeled." And they're like, "Okay, it's fine." So yeah, I do a lot of that, deworming, and because you're eating shit sometimes. You don't have the ability to really take care of yourself unless you force yourself to. So it's just mostly that, taking time out and just to do some R&R.
And back to the basics, right?
Yeah.
Just looking after your
Make sure you
health
sleep.
And,
that's really important. If you're out until, 7 in the morning and you got a flight at 10, it's like, I sleep mostly on planes now. And that's, so it's that kind of thing. But, like I said, I'll get, a few gig runs, and then I'll make sure that it's like, 3, 4, 5 days off to where I'm just like downtime and reset the body, eat well. I also cook, so I make sure we're.
Do you do on the road?
Yeah. That's
right
that's priority. I always get a place. I don't do hotels. I do Airbnbs. I cook.
Right.
And then it's great because most of the places that I have family and friends there. So I like to get the people together and we have a proper dinner and get some fresh food and not eat the bullshit that's around. So that's really important. What you put in your body. Especially when you're partying and doing all of the drinking and all that, you have to just kind of not kill yourself with it. Well,
I recently met, finally after a long time, because going back to family, it was Gabriel Posso.
Oh, yeah. He was just here.
That's right.
I just saw him in Melbourne, actually.
Yeah, shout out to Gabriel. And we've known of each other, and we've been chatting for a while online through my brother Nicodemus.
Oh, yeah.
So Nico and I, we go way back for about 25 years.
Yeah, I just saw a post of him. He just split his finger. I almost lost a finger. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? That kind of stuff. Like, you cannot. Like, you have to be careful of anything. No falling, no slipping, no mistakes, bro.
Totally.
You got to be able to perform. Lose a finger, that's it. So I'm hoping he's all right. I think he's all right.
Yeah. He's also
hardworking dude.
Man,
like his output right now.
He's on point. Yeah, he's killing it. I've never seen him like this.
No.
He's been
it's kind of like this thing. Like we've all gotten this second wave of breath.
Yes.
I think in the last 7 years, as we've seen all of this new wave of DJs and this new current, wave of pop stars, I guess you would say, we kind of, I think, took back. Okay, we do music. Let's concentrate on music and the output. We can always get gigs. So I think that's something that we've all kind of redirected and just concentrated more on the music.
It's interesting that you say that because I feel like as well now and that there's while this explosion of the industry and the way it's happened, I feel there's this disconnect from history.
Absolutely.
And so I've made it very a big part of my work now myself is to actually try to, and not to sound like an old man, we're back in my day.
But it's like that though. It's like that.
But a lot of my work now is about, I guess, educating and elevating the culture.
That is the most important thing.
Yeah,
education.
And I think there is interest out there, genuine interest from the younger generation.
Yeah. You have to teach them. I think the whole thing is like, when the kids get to 25, 30, they're like, oh, I need something deeper than what I was listening to.
They start to dig.
Even like the hip hop guys, they'll go turn the house after 5 years. So you have to educate them, and they're really keen for it.
Yeah.
I think it's important. And then, again, this new wave of culture, a lot of it is ego-based. It's not really based around the music. It's not really based around sustainability. It's just based around, I'm going to be famous and I'm going to be this big name and make all this money. And they see that as I guess as
social media amplifies that big time, right? Like that kind of way of thinking.
Yeah. Well, then now you have all the agents there. They look at how many followers you have on Instagram to book you now. So it's like
I know. I hate that I have to. It is part of the marketing that's required now to connect with audiences and those numbers.
Yeah.
But you've got to really make sure that you're not just looking at numbers. You've got to come back to
there has to be integrity in what you're doing.
Totally. Yeah, going back to the whole A&R thing and music, in your searching, I can't remember when it was definitely years ago, but I followed you on Bandcamp.
Oh yeah.
So I see what you get.
Yeah.
And there's no house music.
No. Very few. Yeah,
it's completely.
A lot of it is the other artists. Again because I want to display what they're doing. I do quite a bit, but it's so much music.
Yeah. It's like from
just
way
a wide
different
array.
spectrum of beautiful stuff.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Are you still digging on Bandcamp? Is that
that's what I miss most about being on the road. I usually take Tuesdays out and just do spend $500 on music because I do my Twitch, my radio show as well.
Yep.
And So yeah, that's the beauty of it. You just get to dig and see all this beautiful music out. I miss that because on the road it's just impossible to do.
Do you buy vinyl?
Man,
You
since
still
COVID,
yeah.
bro, half of my money it goes to vinyl. It's like yeah, and then I also have a residency at Dante's Hi-Fi, Rich's thing.
Right
So
on.
yeah, throw like a monthly there. I haven't done it in a while, but yeah,
Is that close to home?
It's Miami.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a monthly thing I do.
Where are you based now?
St. Louis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So you're back in.
back in St.
Okay.
Louis, yeah,
Oh, wow.
yeah.
When did you move back?
I moved from Greece 2007 to look after my mom.
Because you were living in Santorini.
Yeah, I was in Santorini for 11 years. Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah. Best part of my life, man.
I bet.
Yeah, man.
What a great place to live.
Oh, man, it was the best place ever. I think I wrote some of the best music there.
And what was the club that you had a residency at?
Casablanca Soul.
Yes,
Yeah.
Is that still there?
It's there, but it's a new owner, and I haven't been since. But I think I hear that it's not the same.
Yeah.
But nothing's the same.
Greece has always kind of embraced house music. I always found
yeah, absolutely. They love
the pockets is I would say has gone smaller now, but it's there. It's still there. Like that place out in that's just outside of Athens. Oh God, the name escapes me now. Mike, what was it called? Karaoke.
Oh, karaoke. Yeah, karaoke is good. Yeah.
And so, do you go back to Greece?
I haven't gone since I left, actually.
Okay.
Yeah. The climate there is a bit different as well now. So.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
What else? I wanted to also touch on your like now that you're in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
What have you got plans to come back or?
I have plans to relocate.
Oh.
Yeah.
What
at the end of the year? Yeah, I'm gonna move to Adelaide for.
Right. Why Adelaide?
It's just always been my favorite city here.
Yeah.
It's quiet. Yeah, and I have a really good working relationship with James Curd. I have a really good opportunity at Sugar to play and build something there. It's just the quietest, most quiet town, and I love the fact that South Australia is South Australia. Everything from there is there. The food,
that's
the
so
wine.
cool, man. That's so cool.
Yeah, it's like my downtime place. And it's weird, man. Any place it's the only city in the world that's 30 minutes behind every place else. It says a lot about it. They're like, chill out. We are taking it slow. So something about that. And then the people are cool. And it's just
a nice town.
It's a great town, and it's kind of like the hidden gem for me of Australia.
Yeah.
People are like, you like Australia? Where are you from? I'm like, Adelaide. Like, what? What the hell? Like, yeah, man, you have to go. And then it's funny because a lot of people never been there that's from here. It's really interesting.
Yeah,
but I like it.
It's
good. And it's it's always there's always a festival going on. It's always like right now there's 3 festivals. Fringe, month-long festival. Wilma Adelaide.
That's right.
I just read about another one that's happening as well. So there's always something creative, not just musically, but there's also always something that I can discover that I didn't know about before, and that's very inspiring for me.
Yeah. Well,
they have the best market. And I'm a market freak. I'm a food porn. Like, I go to the markets.
Right.
Like, it's better than records for me. Fresh food, I'm like, yes. Because I cook.
Good
so
produce.
It's like, good produce, good everything.
Yeah.
So, I like that. I like the ability to have that on tap.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on.
And it's cheaper than most cities here as well.
Yeah.
So that's thing. Then I have a lot of friends that are winemakers, and nothing better than some good wine. So,
yeah.
Go to the wineries for a day and just hang out and listen to some music. And, So,
it's great. Yeah, it's a great part of Australia. I also wanted to chat. And we don't have to dive into it too much, but I know last year you copped a lot of slack.
Yeah.
And I'm curious about how you've handled that.
I handle it like I handle everything. I just fight it, man. I mean, the thing about that with the whole trans thing was I asked one question and it just went to this whole transfer. Like, why are we grooming children? That was the only question I asked. And they took that and, you're transphobic. No one could ever ask the question. And the funny thing about it was every promoter that canceled my gig agreed with me. They were like, I understand, I agree with you. But I said, well, if you understand, then you're not standing on what you believe as well. And my initial thing was, okay, people are offended by my question. Why don't you use your platform and let's make a forum and let's talk. Let's be heard and let's listen. No one took me up on that. And it's the whole thing of social media now. Everybody wants to scream and be big with capital letters online, but they don't want to be adults and speak and have a conversation.
Yeah.
So for me, I knew that, I felt like I'm on the right side of history, just asking, like, we're ruining the next generation. Who's gonna procreate if everybody's gay and trans? Like, I felt like this was the second wave of COVID. This was a depopulation tactic. And it's only so prevalent in the States. It's not as much in the rest of the world. So I didn't really I think overall I got like 6 gigs canceled, but some beautiful things happened. One festival that I was residence in closing for 9 years. And it was the first gig that I was playing after COVID. They canceled me the day of the gig, and everyone sold their ticket. Nobody showed up to the festival.
Wow.
So I said, you understand that you changed your thing for 5% of the people that wouldn't have even come and didn't think about the rest of the people who have built this thing as a community with you and were coming for me. So now this guy doesn't have a festival anymore just because of that one action. And you agree with me.
Man.
And I also said, listen, let's just sit down and have a conversation. You're offended by it? Let's find out why you're offended. And,
yeah, it's reasonable, man.
And again, answer the question. Nobody answered the question. Nobody could answer that question.
Right on.
They just went straight to, oh, you're transphobic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so for me, it was like, I'm a fighter, man. I don't back down if I believe it in my heart that I'm righteous in my approach. And I still have the question. It's like, we shouldn't be teaching kids 5 years old and, under of age, these things. Like, why? So yeah, it was not really a thing. Like, I'm not really one to back down. So
Yeah.
I was raised by a very strong Black woman, so it's really hard to shut me up. And again, what happened at the end was they just left me alone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, you can't cancel someone that's creative. I always have music. I can always create. Gigs are great, but I can always go home and write music.
Yeah.
You can never stop that.
Yeah.
So I was never worried about being canceled, and that's the new thing, to cancel people. You don't agree with it, you're offended.
How was it with your peers in the community?
My peers in the community, again, the same thing with COVID. I was telling people about this vaccine. I was like, you don't have enough information. These people are not liable if you die. Think about this. And I had friends that were like, you have a platform, you should be saying this, you shouldn't be saying this. And I was like, Lo, you know what? This is just not right. I don't feel in my spirit this is right. Do whatever you want with your body, but I think you should think about and look at all the information that we're getting and the information that we're not receiving. And I also had people that were, the thing about me, and I think my peers, I think a lot of them are, they will all come and praise what I'm saying. I really agree with you or whatever, but in the back, they won't stand up.
Yeah.
So I think it's like, I don't know. I don't appreciate people that don't stand on their own morals. Don't let me be the martyr if you actually agree with me. That there's more force in what we all say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I had people on both sides of the trans thing and the COVID thing that agreed. I had really good.
Certainly a strange time.
I think people are
and,
just concerned about their career, and I'm like, I don't give a shit about my career. I care about my life, and this is more important. I did get very, very encouraging words from Derek May and DJ Sneak. They were like, man, you just leave it alone. I was like, no, I gotta fight. But, actually listening to them, because they both been on the same thing, being canceled because of things that they've said as well. So, I did consider that, and then I just left it alone after some point, and that's when it just kind of disappeared. But yeah, again, I stand on what I believe, and, that's never gonna change.
Did you find it a struggle at all, like in terms of was there a dark time while this was happening?
No, not at all. It didn't bother me at all. Like, again, because I'm a creative person, so again, I lose a gig here, I lose a gig there. I mean, the other thing about me is that I've built relationships over these years. So people that know me, they didn't give a fuck about that.
Yeah.
It's like I have relationships that you can't ever tarnish.
Well, the reason I ask is because, like, even in your, say, early part of your career where you're wanting to aspire and build your network and build those relationships and get gigs and during that time of, like, because we've been there before, right? We've been through those times of struggle and trying to build something. Was there a time where you felt like you kind of had to pull into that old self of where you had to kind of turn that volume up, you know?
No, not at all. I just kind of flow with everything.
Okay.
man. I'm an in the present moment kind of guy.
Yeah. Nah, that's cool.
Yeah, I don't really let.
And how's this year looking for you?
This year is actually I'm booked into September.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so it's everything's still coming in.
You're going to be in Europe this summer?
I'm in Europe from May till September, actually. Yeah.
And where do you base yourself in Europe?
Always London.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is it easy to get around?
It's easy to get around, yeah. I stay with my friend Kiri from R2.
Okay.
We just stay at home and cook and do all that, and then I just do the gigs, come back to London. Yeah, so it's really good.
Yeah.
Really good situation there. But yeah, gigs are still flowing in. I've got a few festivals.
Yep.
And in the States, so there's quite a few big things coming up.
Yep. Fantastic.
Yeah, everything is still flowing.
Yeah.
Like again, nothing's been tarnished too bad.
Great.
You know.
Great. It's good to hear. Well, Osunlade, thank you so much for coming
pleasure,
today.
brother.
This was a great conversation. I'm glad we finally did it.
Yeah, appreciate it.
My man.
I'll see you at the gig tonight.
Yeah, well, I'm warming up for you.
Ah, there you go. I'll see you. I'll be there to support you. We're here to check you out.
Awesome, man.
I'll probably be the one in the front, finger banging.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, brother. Thank you.
Man.